Welcome to the deep dive. So you've sent us this source, Isasa. Looks like it's from an experienced ESL teacher.
Yeah, and it's got these 10 easy tips. Seems focused on a really common problem.
Right, that thing where you know the word, but you just can't remember it when you're speaking English. That tip of the tongue frustration.
Exactly. We've all been there.
So our mission today is to kind of pull out the best, most practical strategies from this source. Stuff you can use like right away to remember words better.
And hopefully speak with a bit more confidence, too. What's nice is how practical these tips seem, you know? Less theory, more doing.
Okay, let's dive in then. The first big idea seems to be, well, just not enough speaking practice. The tip is literally speak English out loud for 5 minutes. Every day, even if you're talking to yourself. Seems almost too simple.
But it's about active recall, isn't it? When you actually say the words, you're forcing your brain to fetch them, to use them.
Ah, okay. So it's like flexing a muscle. You use it, it gets stronger.
Precisely. It builds those pathways.
Got it. Now, what about nerves? Lots of learners feel shy or anxious. The source mentions breathing slowly and smiling before you speak.
Yeah, and that might sound a bit soft, but your emotional state, it hugely impacts your brain's ability to function.
How so?
Well, being relaxed, feeling calm,
Yeah.
it basically tells your brain, okay, it's safe, you can access things now, including vocabulary. A stressed brain often just freezes up.
Makes sense. Okay, here's one I found interesting. Learning words without context. The source says that's a problem.
Right, the tip is to learn them in sentences. They give the example, I drink tea every morning.
So why is that so much better than just, like, memorizing a list of words?
Well, context gives the word meaning, connections. You understand how it's used, not just what it is. Your brain remembers linked information better than isolated facts, more hooks to hang the memory on.
Okay. And those moments, we mentioned them, the tip of the tongue times. So annoying. The advice is describe the word you're looking for, or maybe use gestures. How does that help?
It's like taking a detour. If the direct road to the word is blocked, describing it, thinking about related ideas, or gesturing, that uses different parts of your brain.
Ah, so you're activating related concepts.
Exactly. And sometimes that triggers the word you're actually looking for. You're sort of circling around it until it pops out.
Clever. Okay, another habit. Translating in your head all the time.
Oh, yeah, that's a common one.
The tip. Try to actually think in English. Even just narrating your daily routine in your head. That sounds challenging.
It is a shift, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's incredibly effective over time. You start building a direct connection. Concept, straight to English word. No middleman.
Skipping the translation step, faster recall.
Definitely. More fluent, less hesitant.
Right. Now, about learning too much at once, the source suggests learning just, say, 5 new words a day.
And crucially, use them in a sentence right away.
Why only 5? Why not try for more?
Because our brains can only really absorb so much new stuff effectively, you know? Trying to cram in 20 words might mean you forget 15 of them by tomorrow.
So quality over quantity. Learn fewer, but learn them better.
Exactly. It's more sustainable and actually leads to better retention, less overwhelm.
And that connects to this point, doesn't it?
Right.
Not using the new words you learn.
Yes. Learning isn't enough. You have to activate them. The tip is use each new word like 3 times in one day.
Oh, like speaking, writing.
Any of those.
Yeah.
Speaking, writing it down, even just thinking it consciously in a sentence. That repetition, that active use, that's what really cements it in your long-term memory.
Right. Moves it from just learned to actually usable.
You got it.
Okay, another one. Speaking too quickly, rushing your words.
A lot of people do that when they're nervous.
And the advice is simply slow down, pause. How does slowing down help you remember words?
It just gives your processor time to work. Rushing can make your mind go blank, or you end up using simpler words because they come out faster. Pausing lets you think, access that better vocabulary word.
And probably makes it easier to understand, too.
Bonus point, yeah. Clearer communication overall.
Okay, almost there. The last couple of tips were about trying to be perfect and not getting enough sleep.
Right, and these are kind of fundamental, aren't they, for any learning?
It seems like it. Don't stress about perfect grammar, just communicate.
Exactly. Focus on getting your message across. Perfection comes later, maybe. Or maybe communication is the perfection you need.
And sleep.
Well, yeah. Your brain does a lot of sorting and storing while you sleep. Memory consolidation, skimp on rest, and your learning suffers. Simple as that.
So, pulling it all together, for everyone listening, the big takeaway seems to be about consistency. Small, practical actions done regularly.
Absolutely. None of these are like massive difficult changes. Speak a little each day, learn a few words well, use them, slow down. It adds up.
It's interesting how they cover different angles. The mechanics of memory, the emotional side, the actual practice.
Yeah, it's quite a holistic approach, really.
So here's something maybe to chew on. Which one of these tips kind of jumped out at you? Which one feels like it addresses your specific sticking point right now?
Maybe it's the 5 minutes a day speaking practice. Or perhaps the idea of learning just 5 words but really using them.
Think about picking just one strategy to consciously try out this week. How might that single change start to shift your confidence, your fluency over time? Something to consider. Thanks for this deep dive with us.